भाई कौन है?
Wear my heart up my sleeve like a big deal.
ओके, अभी एंट्री के बाद मैं चेक करा रहा हूँ, एंट्री खत्म होने दीजिए। ये चल रहा है ना अभी। R2 check 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 R2 check 1 2 3 4 है।
R3 में मिल रहा है।
ओके,
सही है, वो बाद में चेक कर लीजिएगा।
बोलिए
हेलो हेलो
कुछ भी बोल दीजिए पढ़ दीजिए
माइक चेक 1 2 3 माइक चेक
अनु भाई ओके किसको देना है मैडम कुछ बोलिए बोलिए
चेक 1 2 3 माइक चेक 1 2 3
है तो है ये है
चेक माइक टेस्टिंग चेक 3 2 1
the excitement, the anticipation, it's all here. It's all happening here at the ISTAF Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025. It's a confluence of all the nations who love this game called Sepaktakraw coming together. And joining me in the commentary box is Drew Lilly, all the way from Sydney, Australia. The excitement is certainly building and we're all set here. The stage is set.
It is. We're here for the Quadrant event, and many of you who have seen Sepaktakraw before, you'll be reasonably familiar with this, but it's a new-ish format. It was brought in around a decade ago, and Quadrant, as the name would suggest, means that you've got 4 players on each side of the net, so it can get a little bit busy there. It means the rally should be a little bit longer, and we should have some real excitement to get our teeth into in this first afternoon of the ISTAF 2025 Sepaktakraw World Cup.
And the first game that we will present for you is match number 17 of the men's quadrant event, Myanmar versus Malaysia. Well, 2 highly skilled teams.
Exactly, they're both from Southeast Asia, which is where the hotbed of Sepaktakraw is.
Well, let's go down to Pramita, who is near the ringside.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an electrifying showdown between the 2 Sepaktakraw giants. From the land of golden pagodas, when they settle into the court, they turn into warriors. Let's welcome Team Myanmar!
Myanmar are ready, and some members of the Indian team watching on, and their own colleagues from Myanmar. We'll have the lineup from Myanmar soon. Here it is, and a team that has a fair bit of experience, one may say, in these international competitions.
A good team are Myanmar. They haven't yet got a medal in the Quadrant event, but that's because there haven't been that many versions of it played. It was played at the 2022 World Cup, which was in Daejeon, so 3 years ago, and they didn't medal there, so they'll be looking to get on the podium this time around.
And now, the team that has dominated the Sepaktakraw scene for years, the kings of the court. Let's hear it for Team Malaysia.
There they are, Malaysia, in that familiar yellow color. And this is a nation that has produced some fantastic Sepaktakraw units in the past, haven't they?
They're the big ones alongside Thailand. Thailand have got the better of them over a number of years, and it's going to be interesting this time around because neither Thailand nor Malaysia are playing in the Regu event, which is the more traditional 3-a-side. So the men's quadrant is going to be the real standout, and it's going to be great competition between Malaysia and Thailand to see who can get on the top of the podium for this one.
A few warm-ups before we start proceedings here. And this is the Patlipurna Indoor Stadium, and we've got a fantastic lineup of teams on show here at the ISTF Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025. As the teams shake hands and greet each other before the game, it's only appropriate to thank the Bihar government for their support, the Bihar State Sports Authority, and of course the Bihar Khel Vibhag.
Fantastic that we're here. It's the second time that we've had a World Cup in India after Hyderabad in 2017, and there was also an ISTAF Super Series event in 2013 in New Delhi. We say hello to Jolly Laboy, one of the more storied referees on the ISTAF circuit. In the men's quadrant, Group B, various different groups, lots of different teams involved. So Group B, Myanmar, Malaysia, whom we're seeing now, Vietnam as well, and France, all the way over from Europe. They've had a bit of a tough time of it in their group matches this morning, but it's wonderful to see them over here, and I think we'll see them feature a little bit more when we get into the doubles and the regu, particularly the doubles.
Exactly, not the easiest for France. And here are the rules for the quadrant event. And as we know that this quadrant event, we've got 2 groups and
Baseline.
4 different groups, so the top 2 from each group will make it through into the quarterfinals. After that, the semis, and if you lose in the semis, you get a bronze. So there will be 2 bronze medals, and then obviously the winners of the semi-finals will fight it out
Good afternoon, ladies
fight
and
it out for the
gentlemen.
gold
Welcome
medal.
to
But we're not there
ISTAF
yet.
Sepaktakraw World Cup.
Going to see who
Men
makes it
quad
through the group
event.
stages. These 2
Match
teams very
number
much
70.
the favourites to get out of
Between,
Group
on
B,
my
but
right,
obviously you want
Myanmar,
to finish as high
on my
as you
left,
can in your
Malaysia.
group. If you win your group,
Players
you will play a team
in.
that finished second in another group, and also you're laying down a marker as regards the rest of the tournament as well. Your
Ready?
opponents getting a win in early. You never want to lose a match.
Malaysia
Always good
serve.
to get a win in against the likes of Malaysia or Myanmar. Local bragging rights, so they'll be keen to get off to a quick start, both of these teams.
absolutely 4 groups. In fact, one of the groups, it's got only 3 teams. That's Thailand, Singapore and
Love.
Sri Lanka in Group A.
1. Level.
2 teams go ahead. That's a little bit easier. But now we are ready. Malaysia will start with the service behind the baseline.
Point.
Myanmar first on the board, and for
Myanmar.
those of you who haven't watched much Sepaktakraw before, then you tend to score points when
Service
you
over.
receive, because the team that's serving puts the ball onto your foot and then you save it, set it, and then spike it there, and that was an absolutely beautiful roll spike at the net there by Shane Wonazao,
1.
number 7 in the middle of your screen there.
The serve alternates for all our viewers. Again, it was put a little bit low. Malaysia managed to roll it across the net. And that's an attempted block by Malaysia.
Myanmar.
But then Myanmar get their first points of the day.
Service over.
2-0 for Myanmar, and it's best of 3 sets and first of 15, so you want to get off to a quick start. You don't want to give away too many points early on. You want to get into a rhythm as quickly as you possibly can.
Ball.
Well, that got over the net, but unfortunately for
Myanmar.
Malaysia, it took the head of Noraizat on the
Service
way
over.
over, and you can't have 2 touches before it goes over the net on a service.
3. Love. Net.
Don't get a second service either in this game,
Malaysia.
so that's a first point for Malaysia, and they will more
Service
than
over.
happily take it. Finally on the board.
And there's no let as well. You know, just to explain to our viewers that if it hits the net and goes on the other side, then
Stop.
it still counts as a fair service.
Ready. 1. 3.
Adil Aman, the Tekong with the service. They're setting up very nicely, Myanmar. They're doing a very good job. Zin Koko, the number 5,
Service
is
over.
setting the ball up nicely, just where Shane Wonazao, the number 7, wants it. He's rolling. There's a beautiful slow motion there
4.
of a roll spike. You
1.
can see him rolling the leg over.
Net. Point. Malaysia. Service over. Two. 4.
Excellent service down the line.
In.
Well, finally one of the blocks comes off for
Myanmar.
Malaysia, but still they don't get the point. There's been some dogged defence from
Service
Myanmar
over.
thus far. We're going to see this here. Blocks on either side and ends up creeping over the net. Ball's allowed to touch the net and then go over. And
5.
one thing you can't do as a player is touch the net.
Net. Point. Malaysia. Service Service over.
Myanmar struggling a little bit on service at the moment. That's been where most of the points that Malaysia have come from. So they'll be looking to improve that. But when they've been receiving, as is the case here, they've been absolutely dominating. Can they continue that?
Point.
That combination, once again,
Myanmar.
the number 5's in Koko setting it up. That's his job, and I could watch him all day. Absolutely beautiful. Shane Wanazao always puts it in that right-hand corner for him. Left-hand corner as we're watching from our camera angle.
In. Point.
And Malaysia gaining a bit of confidence with the last few moves. Just a question for you,
Service
Drew,
over.
and so that our viewers also get a bit of it. So in the quad event, when compared to the Regu, do we have references to the left-hand side or the right-hand side?
Yep, you've got an extra, well, it's always different when you're setting up on service, and the fact that the service is played from anywhere behind the baseline as opposed to in the circles that you can see on your screen as well. And then you have your 3 teammates setting up in front of the net to try to block the vision of the team that's receiving. And then rather than having someone who's defending, usually the Tekong, then the feeder and a spiker, you've got 2 spikers, so you tend to have 2 at the back and 2 at the front. So you've got options. You can set it up to a striker, a killer at the net, either on the left or the right-hand side.
Service straight onto the net.
Point.
Another question that
Malaysia.
I'd like to ask you, and I've seen different teams in this tournament so far. Some of them, when they're serving in the quad event, prefer to have a 3-man wall up at the net, and some don't. So what causes them to make that difference?
7.
Most of the bigger teams will go for a wall, and they'll move it left and right. It's almost like pitchers and catchers in baseball, saying exactly where they,
Myanmar.
the catcher telling the pitcher asking what you're going to throw and putting down signals. And it's for the teams, you'll see some teams that have got very good Tekongs, very good servers, and we've seen them struggling a little bit so far, and that's exactly what happens again. Another service into the net. Other
Malaysia.
less developed teams tend to have players who will just punt it over. They won't go sideways on for the service. They'll just almost toe poke it over just to get the ball over the net. And they're really not looking to score points on their service. But the bigger teams, that's what they're trying to do. And that's why they're moving the wall around and trying to block the vision, and also trying to fool the opposition. Sometimes it doesn't go over the wall, it goes to the left or the right. And a little bit like tennis in doubles, the partners will tell one another which way they're going to go and try and hide it from the
Service
opposition.
over.
Exactly, and here's a roll spike, really acrobatic. And one of the lessons that
9.
people watching this must take on is the fact that, yes, the roll spikes and spikes, they all look glorious. Again, another mistake, another error with the serve. Just going to
Malaysia.
deviate a bit like my table tennis coach used to
Service
say,
over.
that committing an error while serving is a sin.
Well, it's obviously the start of every point, and it's the same in tennis. If your service isn't on song, then you really are going to struggle. And here you don't get a second service, so the number of points that have been given away already, it's critical. It's what has enabled Malaysia to stay in this contest, because they haven't won many points themselves. And we can see that when Myanmar get the opportunity to save, set and spike, they do so beautifully. And I'd say 6 of the 7 points that Malaysia have got so far have just been faults on service. So that's something that Myanmar, and in particular Zin Koko, the captain, they're going to have to address this. He's going to have to get into a rhythm.
That's far and wide, is it?
Malaysia.
Well, Malaysia win
Service
that
over.
point. I think it was placed very well. Here's a look at the
Malaysia.
replay. A good roll spike and just inside. It was hit hard, And yes, you've got to also judge when you'd want to hit it hard, when you'd want to hit it slow. Watch your opposition. I think that's a timeout.
Timeout has been called. Both teams have a 1 minute timeout that they can take in either set. And this one's been taken by the Myanmar coach. 10-8, they've dominated once they've got into the rallies, but they've struggled on service. And they're sticking with Zinkoko, their captain, on service. So they...
Ready? Time is up. Players in. Wait. Wait. Ready, please. Ball, please.
Well, after the short timeout,
Time
we are
is up.
back, and timeout can also be used
Malaysia
strategically, isn't it? You want to break the momentum of the other side, who may have just gotten
8,
into a flow of things.
10.
Good way of trying to put off the Tekong as well. Makes them a little bit nervous, and it'll be interesting to see how good the service is after that little break. And there we go, a fault. It's fired long there
Point,
by
Myanmar.
Adil Aman. And
Service
that's
over.
a clever way of gaining a point there for Myanmar. They're just 4 points away from taking this first set.
Just on that point, how does a
11.
Tekong get a little bit nervous after a timeout? Can you just illustrate that for our viewers?
It's purely the fact that you're made to think about it for a while, and rather than getting
Point.
into a rhythm and being able to serve. It's
Malaysia.
difficult in Quadrant anyway, because it's
Service over.
to me to you, to me to you. You alternate after every point, as opposed to the Tekong having 3 services in a row
Ready?
in the Regu, and you'll see the timeouts taken
9.
quite often by the team that's
11.
receiving, and they'll do it in the middle of a block of 3 services, but you don't tend to have it in Quadrant quite as much.
In.
That's very well
Point.
done. Myanmar surging ahead.
Myanmar.
They've now moved to 12-9. And let's
Service
have a look at
over.
that again. These look very acrobatic, and everyone wants to talk about the
Ready?
spikes and the roll spikes, but it's also about the setup.
12.
The player who sets it up for the
9.
ultimate finish.
Beautiful deft touch there, just dinked over the top
Malaysia.
by Noor Azat. Saw his
Service
opponent
over.
coming and then uses the sole of the shoe just to tap it over the top of him.
Ready?
Well,
10.
Myanmar are leading Malaysia.
12.
Malaysia, they've got to ensure that their service is right. They've committed a fair number of faults here.
Point.
It was good service all the way
Myanmar.
down the line, but Zinkoko went all the way back,
Service
kept
over.
it in, and then set it up nicely at the net, and now they're only 2 points away from taking this
Timeout.
first set.
Myanmar.
It's also a lottery when it comes to a block, isn't it? Because you never know which way it's going to deflect. You've just got to put your best foot forward there.
Best foot forward, you need your best leg forward, and you need it as straight as possible.
Myanmar
Blessing.
only 2 points
Myanmar
away from
serve.
winning the first game in this match. And so
Ready.
far, it's been engaging. We'd like to see it get even more intense as the
13.
game proceeds, but it's going to be Myanmar who'll just
10.
start proceeding with the service.
Net.
What's interesting there is that they've changed their tekong.
Myanmar.
Zalmin Kant came in there and it was very athletic service. That was
Challenge
what
service.
alerted me. I hadn't quite picked up on the fact that it wasn't Zin Koko until I saw the service motion. So 4 points. The challenge on the service. Okay, so did Kant step over the baseline when he served? So we're going to have a video review of this one.
The change in Tekong may not have just gotten the rhythm with that first service for him, possibly.
Huge point, this one. If it's a fault on service, then obviously the point goes the way of Malaysia, and all of a sudden it's 13-11 as opposed to 14-10 and 4 set points. Well, that was how the point panned out, but what we need to see is what actually happened on the service. And we'd had Zin Koko, the captain, who'd been the tekong up until now, and then after that second timeout was taken, they decided to change, and it was Zalmin Kant who was dancing all the way along the baseline before coming in with a real, almost a roll spike of a service. My assumption is they were looking for a foot fault. Foot fault, you get them a lot more often in Regu, because you can see the circle there in the middle of your screen. The server has to have the 1 foot planted inside that circle. It's not allowed to touch so much as the inside of the line of that circle. And there is a feeder who is by the net who tosses the ball up to them. And if the ball toss is poor, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't abort the ball toss like you can do in tennis. You just have to take it. So
No fault.
I think it's been said that it was at a beautiful,
Myanmar.
absolutely beautiful view of that service, and it's
Ready?
been called legal. So we do indeed have 4 set points for Myanmar.
10. Game point.
Quite an
14.
athletic serve, that one. Serving for the set.
Out. Players
In fact, it was
baseline.
Myanmar who were facing for the set. Sorry.
Change side, please.
Receiving for the set, yes, and the
Change
service
sides.
went long
Change
from
sides.
Malaysia, so Myanmar take the opener, 15-10.
Can. Change side. Change sides.
15-10, and that's a very good start for Myanmar. Now
Baseline,
Malaysia,
please.
they've got to, of course, bounce back in this second set to make it 1-all. But so far, Myanmar 1 and Malaysia 0 at the ISTF Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025 in Bihar. This is the ISTAF Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025. And in the quad men's event, we've got Myanmar taking on Malaysia. Myanmar won the first set 15-10. You could see a great exhibition of athleticism from them, particularly during one of their penultimate serves. Almost served like a spike.
All.
Now Myanmar are ready to serve for the second game.
Out. Point Myanmar. Service over.
And Myanmar have started well as that spike goes a little wide. Malaysia have got to do something really quick.
Love. One. In. Point. Malaysia. Service over. Ready? One. Stop. Ready?
Myanmar,
One.
Than Din 2 is going to serve. Far and wide. I think he just got a little bit more foot onto that one.
Malaysia. Service over. Substitution. Myanmar. Out number 3, in number 6. Okay. Ready? Two. One. Net.
Into the net again from Malaysia. And we saw
Myanmar.
quite a bit of this in the first set as well.
Service over.
Again, the service allows you to put your initiative forward. But somehow Malaysia has kept making those mistakes.
In. Point. Malaysia. Service over. Ready? Three. Two. In. Point. Point. Myanmar. Service over. Three. All.
There's that big serve again.
In.
And very well done by Malaysia.
Malaysia.
It was Bin Halim with that spike to win that point.
Service over. Ready?
Another question for you. We've seen that Malaysia, they've got players who are comparatively taller than
Ready?
Myanmar. So
Four.
how much does it help when it comes to forming the
Three.
ball around the net?
In. Point. Myanmar. Service over. Ready? Serve Myanmar. Four. All. Out. Point. Malaysia. Service over. Ready? 5,
Gets it past the net this time.
Malaysia.
Yes, and now they are 2 points clear.
Ready? 4, 6.
Well done. Well done by Zoa over there. This second set
Service over.
has been a lot more competitive, I would say, than the first
Ready?
one, because in the first one, Myanmar had taken a significant lead. But right here, we see that both teams fighting time and again. Once again,
5.
Malaysia have got to know, they've just got to get those services. And Azwawi will serve. Gets it past the net. An attempted spike, but into the net, looks like.
Service over. Six. All.
That's huge there. A point, one on service. Excellent service it was as well. Just clipping the net on the way over makes it very difficult to return.
6, 7. Net. Point. Myanmar.
And you can see the result of the pressure put on Malaysia there. A fault on service, and all of a sudden it's Myanmar who find themselves 2 points clear. They've got 4 points in a row, the team in white.
Malaysia.
Timeout being called by Malaysia, so 4 points in a row they've lost. You can see the smile on the coach's face for Myanmar. They'll be absolutely delighted with this. So it's
Ready?
Well, in the second set, Myanmar are leading 8-6.
Time is
They
up.
won the first one
Players
15-10.
ready. Myanmar serve.
They will now serve. Serving for them
8,
will be Tanzin 2.
6. Net.
It's now Myanmar's turn to commit those faults.
Malaysia.
well, they
Service
can
over.
almost afford to commit one. They got 4 points in a row, 2 on their own service, which is not what you expect. And I do like I like what he tried to do. It was a good error. He aimed exactly at the tape. He got his teammates to duck out of the way, and had it clipped over, it would have gained them a point.
Out.
That one, on the other hand, I'm
Myanmar.
less keen with when it comes to service faults.
Service
One
over.
that just drifts long and gives the point away there. So Myanmar,
9.
they're the ones with the initiative. It's
7.
up to Malaysia. They've got to get a break. They've got to win a point on service.
It's a very good retrieve. Almost outside the court. But Myanmar win this point. Courtesy
Myanmar.
that spike by Thet Peang So. I think earlier in the rally, there was some good athleticism on display from Malaysia. One of their players just going out into the free zone and retrieving the ball.
Ready?
3 points adrift
7.
now. Malaysia, they're in real trouble.
10.
They were 6-4 to the good and then 6 of the last 7 points have gone the way of Myanmar. Better service here though, but put away absolutely beautifully. It's an excellent killer that they've got, Myanmar. Shein Wunazao. Number of points that he's managed to put away at the net.
Wunazao has been absolutely brilliant, and Myanmar continuing to go from strength to strength, only 4 points away from winning this match. But they aren't going to win if Malaysia continue to try and just fight back, keep getting those points.
Service over.
Good service again. You like the fact that they're trying to get the services. It was Zhao Min Kant there with his service again, just clipping the net on the way over.
11.
Makes life very difficult for the opposition.
Net.
A couple of times that we've seen that,
Myanmar.
Malaysia serving, and then it ends up
Service
bouncing
over.
off one of the Tekong's teammates before it even gets to the net.
Wow.
They've really not been in a good rhythm on service all match.
It's a good serve.
I really like his service and the fact that they went with Zin Koko to begin with and then changed to Zhao Min Kant. I like his service, particularly the angle that we've got from our commentary position. You can see it, it's like a curveball that he's throwing. It floats through the air, goes one way and then the other, and it's very difficult for the opposition to read. And I'd have him as the Tekong for the remainder of the group games, and then quarters, semis, maybe even the final if they get that far.
Into the net yet again, Malaysia. What are you up to? Azwawi has committed quite a few of those, and now it's also match point right now for Myanmar.
Match point.
Match points, 6 of them. Be interesting to see where this service goes, presumably over the wall. Kept alive absolutely beautifully. That was a great service, and I thought they were going to win that on service, but it was wonderfully retrieved by Amirul Zazwan, going all the way back and then put it up nicely into the mid-court for Shahaluril to put away. Very deep spike.
Game match point.
Now, though, they've got 5 match points still to save, and this one is on their own service.
Malaysia still alive, still alive. The previous point, just the way the retrieve was executed by Amirul Zazwan, I think that was something that would give them confidence. It's still a long road ahead. They still have to get 4 more points.
That's 3 points in a row that have been won by the number 22, Shahal Ril. That one there, it was really by the skin of their teeth. It was an excellent rally. I think Myanmar getting a little bit nervous as they try to close this one out. And Shahal Ril, number 22 there, he's really stepped up. Thinking, well, where were you earlier on? So 3 match points saved. Another one to come on their own service. And as you said, they've gone for a change in Tekong. On the line, the hands, yes, the hands were down from the line judge. That's 4 that they've saved. This is incredible for Malaysia.
Absolutely incredible, just the way they've fought back. And if they get 2 more points, then we move into a deuce, setting it up for a 17-point game.
Ready?
Yes, if it gets to 14 all, then it's 2 points clear. And if we get to 16 all, it's golden point. So, match point number 5.
This has been some incredible work by Malaysia. You've got to appreciate the kind of fight that they've shown. It started off with that retrieve from Amirul Zazwan, and since then the momentum has shifted in Malaysia's favor. I've quite enjoyed this
14.
fight back.
Pressure now on Nur Azat. Can't afford a fault. The save, the set, the spike. Kept alive again. Half a dozen match points saved. This is absolutely incredible from Malaysia.
And we can hear the roar in our commentary box. All the
Setting
spectators
up
who've assembled, the other
to
teams who are here
17.
applauding this incredible fight back by Malaysia, saving 6 match points. Myanmar will now feel
Yes.
the pressure. They'll feel under the pump because the momentum is clearly with Malaysia. The confidence is with them. And now as Myanmar get ready to serve, what will be going through their mind?
Well, you've got to wonder why the Myanmar coach didn't call a timeout at about 14-11 or 14-12 when it was Malaysia's turn to serve as well, just to
Ready?
let the nerves creep into their head for an extra minute. 6 points in a row. 6
14.
match points in a row. There's a beautiful camera angle here. See what the server's going to try to do. That one bounced, and now we've got a set point for Malaysia. Who'd have thought that 2 minutes ago?
None of us,
Service
none of
over.
us. But Malaysia believed and they've fought back incredibly hard. Once again goes to show the
Ready?
kind of powerhouse that they are in the sport of Sepaktakraw.
They were dead and buried about 3 minutes ago, 14-8
15.
down. And now here they
14.
are with a point to take it to a third and final set.
Mohammad Noraiza to serve for this set.
And they've done it. They've done it. They have won the second set 16-14 on the back of 8 points in a row. And we're going to go to a decider.
Myanmar.
An
Out
incredible,
number
and
6 in number
absolutely
3.
thrilling fight back there by Malaysia. Once Myanmar got to 14, one would have assumed
Ready?
that they would wrap up this encounter. But here we are, heading into a third set, and it's set up.
14.
Actually, I've slightly got it
16.
wrong. It used to be 2 points clear, but now it's first to 17. So Myanmar, they were still alive, but there we go. That puts any doubt out of the way. 17-14,
Change
Malaysia
side,
take the
please.
second set.
That's
Change
9
sides.
points in a row that they've won, and it was some incredible display. Yes, we saw a lot of athleticism, acrobatics, obviously everything that you associate with Sepaktakraw. But
Baseline.
talk about character.
Second
Malaysia
set. Malaysia
have
win.
just come back. It's
17-14.
1-1 here.
2 minutes rest.
All English so far. Do I throw in a bit of Hindi or just have cue? This is just the kind of action that we want to see at the
Players, time
ISTAF
is up.
Sepaktakraw World Cup
Players
2025
in.
here
Third
in
set.
Patna, Bihar.
Malaysia serve.
Myanmar were
Ready.
coasting to a victory, but then out of nowhere, Thailand have pulled a rabbit out of the hat. It's 1-1, and we head into the third set.
Yes, Malaysia really turning things around there. 9 points in a row. Excellent from them, but incredibly passive, incredibly nervous from Myanmar. They will be kicking themselves there. All they had to do was get 1 point on the opposition service, and they had 3 bites of the cherry to do it. And completely and utterly fair. Where were the spikes like that in the last 9 points of the second set? All well and good
Service
pulling them
over.
out now, but that's what they needed to do when they were 14-8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 up.
Hansen too with the serve off the net, but it continues.
Point. Malaysia.
That one was in. Been very impressed by Shahal Ril.
Ready?
Really stepped up in the dying embers of the
Ready.
second set. What should have been the dying embers when they were 14-8 down, and he got them
One.
almost single-handedly
Sorry,
from
two.
14-8 to 14-11
Sorry, one
with
all.
3 spikes in a row.
No problem.
If he
Continue.
can carry that form
One.
over and just making sure
All.
that the scoreboard gets up to date. It's actually 2-1. 1-1 in fact.
In.
That's a good one
Point.
there by
Myanmar.
Wunazor. Wunazor was absolutely brilliant in the first 2 sets,
Service
wasn't he?
over.
He was up until the final 9 points, and then we saw absolutely nothing of him.
2.
He needed to be a
One.
little more decisive towards the end of that second set, and they may well come to regret that, Myanmar.
Thailand get that as Myanmar
Malaysia.
unable to block that one, and somewhere Myanmar have got only themselves to blame because they sort of allowed the door
Service
to
over.
open for Malaysia, let it ajar a little bit because they were a bit defensive. If they could have just gone for the kill, then I think right now
2.
they would have been sitting in the locker room celebrating.
I think Malaysia have been allowed to play themselves into form. There are a lot of faults on service early on.
Out.
And of course,
Point.
as soon as I say that, there's
Myanmar.
another one from them, ironically. But they've played themselves
Service
into
over.
a bit of form, and they're looking the sharper of the two at the moment.
3.
Myanmar now are going to have to
2.
wrest the initiative back.
Net. Point. Malaysia.
Change ends after every set,
Service over.
and we're into a third and deciding set. So once we are halfway through it, we will change ends again, just to make sure that there are no
3.
advantages to be had. Obviously, we're indoors, so it's not as
All.
if the sun's shining more from one end or the wind's coming in from one end, but you never know. There might be something about the flooring or the lighting, so you make sure that every team gets the same opportunities, and we'll swap around halfway through this set.
In.
Straight onto
Point. Myanmar.
Mohammad Noraizat. Of course, the ball isn't as hard, but when it comes at you with some force, surely it's got to hurt a little bit.
It is going to hurt that when you take it on the face. You see a lot of them, a lot of the players block with their backs, back of the head. You see a lot of teams using the head as well. You can use your head as much as you like, and teams like Iran tend to play headers a lot more often. The ball used to be woven out of
Injury
rattan,
timeout.
and now it's
Injury
plastic,
timeout.
and
Baseline.
all of the
Don't go
top-level
out.
competitions, the
Don't go
balls
out.
are provided by
Don't go
Marathon.
out.
So you can see the little marathon board in the background there to illustrate the point, and they are quite painful if you take one right off the face. They're very
Very good.
light and
Ready,
thin,
players?
very well designed, and float through the air very nicely. But yes, if they float through the air and come straight at you when you're only halfway down the
Malaysia.
court and they rattle off your face, then they leave a bit of an imprint.
Myanmar.
तो म्यांमार और मलेशिया के
Ready?
बीच में है ये मुकाबला ISTAF
Four.
सेपाक्टक्रॉ वर्ल्ड कप 2025
Three.
में। म्यांमार ने पहला सेट जीता था, दूसरा सेट फिर मलेशिया ने जो जबरदस्त फाइट बैक करके जीता। और यहाँ हम तीसरे सेट में हैं जहाँ पर दोनों टीम धीरे धीरे फाइट कर रहे हैं और अभी 4-4 की बराबरी चल रही है। हमने काफी बेहतरीन ऐसे स्पाइक देखे हैं पूरे प्रतियोगिता में और ये मैच में भी वही बरकरार है। मेरे साथ यहाँ कमेंट्री बॉक्स में ड्रू लिली है जो कि सेपक टकराव काफी देख चुके हैं दुनिया भर में, and I'm going to get him into the discussion obviously because a lot of our viewers watching this sport fascinated by the kind of athleticism that's on show.
Excellent block there at the net. That's exactly what they need. A point, one on service. Noor Azat coming up with a great block. We'll see him there on the right of your screen with the back. And the great thing about blocking with your back, you need two people to go up there, someone to stretch out a leg and the other one just with your back. Your back's obviously very straight, and so the ball isn't going to fly off and go out beyond the confines of the court.
He had that spike-like service again.
Malaysia.
Again going Malaysia's way. Just one question for you. Earlier, we saw that Noor Aizat was serving for Malaysia and a lot better. But they've also gone back to their captain time and again, Amirul Tazwan, who's committed a lot of faults. So maybe it would make more sense to have Noor Aizat, but I guess just limped off the field, maybe just adjusting his shoe. Would you go with Noor Aizat or continue with your captain? I think Noor Aizat would be the better option.
He looked the better option midway through the second set, and
Injury timeout, Malaysia.
the skipper early
Number
on
3.
committed a lot of faults. He seems to be serving a lot better now though, Amirul Tazwan, the number 8. And once you get into a rhythm on service, then it's like riding the hot hand. If someone's in a rhythm, then you just stick with them for as long as you can, because you can get into a rhythm on serving, you can get out of a rhythm as well. So it's important to go with whatever's working for you at the moment. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
He's got a bit of help from the physio. The magic sprays come out. He's got to put his shoe back on. They allowed such breaks, of course, and the referees also monitor whenever an injury break is taken. Malaysia will, of course, prefer that Noor Aizat continues, and he's fine now.
Yeah.
ये अभी वापस आएंगे फील्ड पर।
Mop, please.
थोड़ी सी उन्हें चोट लगी थी, तो इसीलिए अभी वापस आते हुए नूर आइज़त, जिन्होंने काफ़ी अच्छे सर्विसेज किए मलेशिया के लिए, और मलेशिया यही उम्मीद करेंगे कि जिस प्रकार का मोमेंटम उनके साथ रहा है वो यहाँ पर बरकरार रहे। 6-4 की बढ़त। The Indian team, they're in attendance, and of course everyone wants to watch them play. The home team after all. Having said that, Malaysia have opted for their captain again to serve. It's Amirul Tazwan.
Ready? Malaysia serve. 6-4.
It's Azwawi who's serving.
Net.
Again
Point.
into the net. Drew.
Myanmar.
Again, Azwawi has committed those errors. Why would they go back to him? He just doesn't seem to have that
5.
confidence today.
Well, it's his
6.
job, and you're meant to stick with the person whose job it is. If you've got a Tekong in there, then you're meant to stick with the Tekong.
Point.
And you don't want to
Malaysia.
pull somebody as well, because that can be a real
Service
blow
over.
to their confidence. If your job is to be the Tekong and then all of a sudden it's getting a bit close here, I'm going to put someone else in, then that's
Ready,
a bad
please.
look for you, a bad look for the team. So you need to show confidence in your players.
Malaysia, ready. Stop. Captain.
Find themselves 2 points to the good at the moment.
15 seconds. Okay, warning.
And yes, Azwawi will continue.
Ready. 7.
They
5.
prefer the height of Noor Aizat on the wall, up front.
In. Point. Myanmar. Service over.
Attempted block there by Malaysia. मगर point जाएगा अभी म्यांमार की ओर. म्यांमार
6.
6-7.
7.
now it's Chair At, and I think we're going to have this should be the change of ends. Yes, once you get to 8, which is halfway through the set or halfway towards winning the final set, then the teams change ends.
In the court.
I can count up to 10, by the way.
Inside.
So there we go. I can't get up to 15. I'm going to have to learn how to get up to 15. Or indeed, even up to 17, because that's as far as we might end up having to go.
8, 6.
Very good service, just clipped the net
Myanmar.
on the way over, and they almost kept that one alive, Malaysia. Still a point to the goods, and they'll be looking to get that 2-point buffer again as they receive service here.
It was Zhou Min Khan with that finish.
Beautifully dinked over the top. That's something I do like to see. Shahalril once again. The opposition, obviously, they're there at the net, stretching out the legs. You can see 2 of them stretching out a leg, and he just taps it over the top with the sole of his shoe. Beautifully done.
That's what. It isn't only about power when you're playing or when you're trying or attempting the spike or the roll spike. Sometimes with that awareness of where your opponent is, just try to tip it over the bar. Just get a bit of put on it.
Malaysia with a chance to put this one away now. And you could hear the Malaysians in the crowd going Satu, Dua, Tiga, 1, 2, 3, as that was saved, set and spiked to perfection. Once again, it's the number 22. He's really stepping up for them.
Absolutely fantastic. And I think earlier in the rally, we saw number 22 execute a fantastic block as well, where there was a good hard shot by Myanmar, but he managed to block it well and put it across the net.
4 points clear now, 4 points to the goods, and just 4 points away from taking a match that by rights they should have lost about 10 or 15 minutes ago, Malaysia.
And such a victory in the early stages of the tournament certainly can boost the confidence. Malaysia still 4 points adrift. They'll want to get there, but knowing the fact that they've fought back, oh, that's amazing for team morale, isn't it?
Point.
It's the same player again. It's a bit unfortunate, poor old Noor Azat.
Service over.
Putting his body on the line, his face on the line. That's twice in a row there. As we say hello to Dato Abdul Halim Kader, who has been the president, and he's been the driving force behind ISTAF, behind World Sepaktakraw for decades now. Discretion the better part of valor there. The advertising boards, they're not overly solid, so if you try to step on top of them, they will collapse underneath you. So the right choice made there rather than chasing that one over the boards.
Ready?
Yes, rightly pointed out. I'm just coming from a tournament where I've seen numerous players crashing into those hoardings, and then we had to stop play because they had to be attended to.
That's 3 points in a row now for Myanmar. So it was 11-7, back to 11-10. A crucial point coming up here for Myanmar on their own service.
Ball please.
A crucial point indeed, and Khan's did too. Would you expect him to put that acrobatic serve in again as a tekong, or just go for the stable one, put it across the net?
Going to float one just above the wall, I think, right down the line. That's what he tries to do. He tries to He plays with the fine margins. He tries to get a
Malaysia.
tape service in there. He looks for a service
Service
that's going to
over.
clip the line, the outside line there. And we can see the problem is when it
Ready?
hits the tape as well, it's going to deviate.
Ready?
He's got that curveball type of service, and that one was always drifting wide, and that's a crucial point
12.
that he's gifted to Malaysia.
10.
Are they going to be able to win themselves over the line, or is it going to be a case of waiting for mistakes from the opposition?
Point Myanmar.
Myanmar just closing in the
Service
gap,
over.
and this game has been a real humdinger. It's now 11-12 in the third set. The second
11.
set, it set it up with
12.
that comeback by Malaysia. Once again, Drew, you spoke about those fine
Point.
margins. Flirting with
Malaysia.
those fine margins, you either end up a winner, or
Service
sometimes
over.
it can be a little bit embarrassing where you'll think, oh my god, I could have just got it past the line, given my team a chance.
Well, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if you put a neutral service over there and just play a rally ball, then you're
13.
giving the opposition the chance to save, set and spike incredibly comfortably. So you do need to ask questions of the opposition on service.
Change in Tekong for Malaysia.
Point.
Myanmar taking care of
Myanmar.
business on receiving from the
Service
receiving
over.
end, but they need a big service here. He's been lining them up. Can he get one that
12.
clips the tape and just dies
13.
on the way over?
He does, it just deflects the net and goes past.
8.
But once again,
Point.
it's a fantastic
Malaysia.
finish by Malaysia,
Service over.
and they are now a point away from winning this match. It is match point. Can
Ready?
Myanmar just manage to reduce the deficit, just the way Malaysia did
Ready?
in the previous game? Set.
Match point. 14.
2 match points,
12.
one of them on their own service and then one of them receiving. How many are they going to need? Well,
Net.
they're going to need both.
Point.
I'm not
Myanmar.
too disappointed
over.
with that attempted service. Again, they're trying to get it on the tape. So 1 match point saved, and now trying to
13.
save the second match point
14.
on your own service. They're going down the middle this time, and it goes into the net. Heartbreak. You never want to see a match end on a fault, but that is exactly what we've had, and Malaysia have snatched victory from the jaws of defeat and taken this one in 3 sets, 15-13 in the decider.
An absolutely fantastic comeback by Malaysia. Who would have thought midway through the second set,
Malaysia.
they
Baseline,
lost the
Myanmar.
first set 15-10, then made a remarkable recovery. They were down
Baseline.
14-8 and then managed to surge ahead and
Ladies
win
and gentlemen,
that
match
second
number
set. And in the
17,
third set, a
third
close
set,
contest.
Malaysia
But here we are, Malaysia 2,
15-13.
Myanmar 1,
Winner of the
and they
match,
march ahead in the
Malaysia,
ISTAF
2-1.
Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025.
Good one. Very good.
और ये मुकाबला मलेशिया ने बेहतरीन तरीके से जीता, एक जबरदस्त फाइट बैक दिखाकर, और 2-1 से ये मैच अपने नाम कर लिया। और यही तो बात है ISTAF सेपैक्टक्रॉ वर्ल्ड कप 2025 की। मगर पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त। ड्रू, more action in store.
Indeed, a couple of teams from, you'd say the second tier, really, rather than Southeast Asia. We've got other Asian teams, Nepal versus Japan.